Welcome to the Start Your Fashion Business channel. My name is Stephanie and I'm the host of this channel. If you're new around here, it's really nice to have you. I love having new faces. Make sure to subscribe to this channel as well so that you don't miss any of my videos. So I'm an ethical garment producer and a sustainable brand owner. So I have my own brand and I'm also producing for other brands, and I'm also a fashion business coach. I have an 8-week online mentorship program that teaches my students how to create their own successful fashion business. And it inspired me to create this channel because I just have so much knowledge to share when it comes to fashion, creating your own fashion brand. I've helped so many of my clients do that. So I'm creating these videos to show you a little bit of my insider knowledge so that it can help you if you're interested in creating your own fashion label. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about how to find a good manufacturer and how to work with them. This is really important if you want to start a cut and sew clothing label, because you are going to need to find a reliable manufacturer that's going to create your stuff, and they're going to make it high quality and in the price points that you want at the MOQ that you want. Let's say that you are creating a line of dresses. Let's just make that as an example. I'm going to illustrate the steps that you're going to have to take if you want to find a good manufacturer, and how you can work with them and work with them efficiently. That's what a lot of people struggle with, because yes, working with a manufacturer is not always going to be easy. Sometimes they speak a different language, or they just operate in the way that you don't operate, so you have to find a middle ground. So first things off, what you must do is you must really get prepared. This comes internally from you. You must make sure that you have everything you need to start a fashion line. Like, yes, maybe if you have an idea and all of that, maybe that's not really exactly to the point yet that you should work with a manufacturer. So you should definitely finalize this concept, and then from there you can do your research. Are you going to work with a manufacturer that will assist you from your idea, from that point on, to creating your tech packs, to doing your patterns and your samples, all the way to production? Or are you going to work with a CMT manufacturer that's only going to help you cut, make, and add the trimming of the product? So this is really important because there's two different types of manufacturers. They basically help you on completely different parts of your business, and this goes back to how prepared you are, because if you don't have tech packs yet and your manufacturer cannot create a tech pack for you, then you must find someone that can do that. Now, if you're fully ready and you have everything prepared, then you can work with a CMT factory and do it yourself. But again, if you're new and you're new to the fashion business game, then I suggest to not go that route, because it's going to be a nightmare if you don't know how to do your own production. And if this is your first rodeo, then that's going to be super stressful for you. So I suggest going with a full package production manufacturer, but then again, not all of them will be able to help you from developing your idea into a tech pack. So if they require a tech pack and they cannot make it, you must make that first. Do your research, figure out what your manufacturer can offer you, and then from there, also make sure that they can make the clothes that you want to make, because not all manufacturers will be able to produce what you want. So there's going to be manufacturers that specialize in handbags, or they specialize in shoes, or like sweaters. So make sure your manufacturers that you're going to reach out to can make your stuff. So from there, what I would do is you would reach out to them, write them an email, ask them all these questions. And the questions that are going to be important for you are going to be different, and it's just not going to be the same like any other brand. But what you would typically want to know is A, if they can make your stuff, and let's say if you need help with development, if they can assist you and hold your hand throughout, or what they basically need in order for you to work with them. So get that preliminary questions out of the way, and then also ask them about their minimum order quantity, because If you're a small brand and you're only looking to produce 50 units per design, you want to make sure this manufacturer can do that and they're not going to have a higher minimum order quantity that you need to meet. So make sure you understand this so that you can create a pros and cons list of all the manufacturers that you reach out to. Where do you find manufacturers? So nowadays manufacturers, they're a little bit more tech savvy, so a lot of them have better websites. A lot of them are even on Instagram. So if, let's say, you're an ethical, or you want to be an ethical fashion brand or have an ethical fashion brand, you might want to Google ethical manufacturers or go on Instagram and type that in the hashtag and then see all the manufacturers that come up, you know? I mean, I'm an ethical manufacturer and I have my own Instagram. Check us out, we're Tile Studio. So I've seen a lot of manufacturers on Instagram as well, so you can definitely find them there. And if not, you can find them on Google or you can go on Alibaba, but I don't really suggest Alibaba. It's not really my cup of tea, but if you are making an activewear label or yeah, you have some higher minimums that you can meet, then maybe look on Alibaba and see what you find there. So those are the places that I would suggest for you to look at. And then there's one more called Sewport that might also be good for you to check out. So these are just places that you can do your research. So after you've done your research, you would then reach out to them and ask them these questions so you can create your pros and cons list based on your non-negotiables. So perhaps you are going to launch a sustainable fashion brand, so you want to make sure that your manufacturer does have access to sustainable fabrics, because if they don't, you're not going to work with them and you don't want to like find out about this information down the line. You typically want to be efficient and figure out if it's like a yes or a no. And for instance, if you are an ethical fashion brand, you want to make sure that your manufacturer does things ethically, that if they're saying that they're ethical, maybe you want to see their certificate, or you just want to understand more about their production facility and the things that they do to treat their workers right and also minimize the negative impact to the environment. So create your non-negotiable questions and send them out to these manufacturers and wait for them to respond. And then from there, create your pros and cons list so that you can narrow it down. Now at this point, you might want to just verify that they can create your design, right? So if at this point you want to share your tech pack because they've answered the questions and it looks like everything is promising, so you might want to at this point then show something like one of your designs so that they can give you a quote based on that. At this point, if you want to send an NDA or some kind of like agreement to protect your design, then you can do that. Manufacturers they should sign it. I sign it for my clients if they require it. I mean, it's just like a no-brainer, but if they don't want to sign it, definitely run the other way because then they're really shady. At this point, you might want to get a quotation that's specific to your design just so that you know. Because a full package manufacturer, they typically don't give you a breakdown of the materials or like what the cost is of that production. They give you one price and that's it. You don't get like a whole bill of material or breakdown. So you must kind of be aware of the pricing that you're working with. Another thing that I suggest is to tell them what your target price is. So maybe you have already in mind that you want to sell this dress at $50, so you cannot manufacture it more than $15 or whatever it is, right? You want to tell them this, so then they can come back to you and tell you what the fabric options are. The thing is about working with manufacturers, you just want to be 5 steps ahead and not like back and forth, ask one question like playing tennis. No, you want to be able to ask them the right questions at the right time. And by the right time, I mean, you don't want to ask them questions that is about production and still, let's say, is influenced by fabric choice. So it's some kind of answer that they cannot answer right now because you haven't made up your mind. So make sure you're asking questions that are really relevant. So yes, you want to narrow it down that way and really understand how long it takes to create the samples, and even, you know, if everything is approved, how long it will take for you to produce, because then you can kind of get organized in the back end and you're not going to be signing off on something that's going to be done 5 months down the line. So that would be really crazy. And so, like I said, you have to narrow it down. Once you really feel good about this manufacturer, that's when you can work with them. But even so, you have to kind of go with your gut feeling, you know, because some manufacturers, at this point, you might have 3 manufacturers that you've narrowed down. You might see that one manufacturer is quoting you on this dress for 10 bucks, and then another manufacturer quotes you at $15. And this is completely normal because, you know, even though it's the same design, the way that they might operate their business could be higher than the way this manufacturer operates their business. So there is no right or wrong, but what you can do is like make sure, why is that $15? Maybe they're $15 because they're an ethical manufacturer and they pay their workers high, like above the minimum wage. Whereas this manufacturer might not be ethical, you know? So you're going to have to sort through this and then figure out like which manufacturer feels most right for you. Because at the end of the day, this is a company that you're going to be working with for an extended amount of time. You don't want to jump around from manufacturer to manufacturer. It's exhausting. So you want to find the one that you enjoy working with, and these people are responsive and you respect them, they respect you, and you have an enjoyable time working together that also mutually benefits each other. So you definitely don't want to be rude to your manufacturer. You're not going to get the best service. You also want to be very professional and just like be like a darling client, because that's when they will go above and beyond for you. So trust me on this. I know this a lot. So for instance, at this point, you've already understood the entire process and you already know like how much it's going to cost you for your samples. At this point, they're going to generate you an invoice so that you can start sampling, which is super, super exciting. Now make sure that you send them all the correct information. Don't send them information that's outdated. So if it's an old tech pack, like double check everything that you're sending them, because you just don't want to send them something wrong and then they make the wrong sample. This happens quite a lot. Like I've had one of my clients send me an older tech pack and she forgot to switch the print. So we ended up making the print in the tech pack, and it's not really our fault. We're following things that are in the tech pack. And as a manufacturer, typically, like when things like that happen, they don't need to make a new one, like a correct one, if your tech pack is wrong to begin with. They're just following what's in the tech pack. But we were like, you know what, like you're a good client, we'll make you a new one, and we absorb that cost. And not all manufacturers are like us, so definitely don't expect that. And after you send them everything, make sure that you know how to manage expectations. So your manufacturer works with a ton of other brands too. Perhaps they might not send you an email every day with an update, you know? I mean, I don't think that's necessary, but if it's a weekly update, that should be enough. Especially when you're doing production, you don't need constant updates. For sure, during sampling, you want to make sure that they get feedback from you fast enough so that they can fix the sample and that you have an open communication line. So definitely manage your expectations, so in that way you know exactly how they're working and what you can do and provide for them so that they can work efficiently. So I hope this video really helped, and if you have any questions, you can ask me in the chat box below. Before I go, I want to show you this super cute dress that I produced for my client. So I actually asked her if I could wear it because, yeah, like I definitely don't want to wear stuff that I've produced for my client, but I really love her brand. You can check it out in the description box. And I asked her, I was like, can I wear the sample? And she's like, yes, absolutely, you can. So I want to thank her for that. I really like wearing this. I wanted to wear it in this video and show you guys what we make as manufacturers. A few other things we make is this linen pants. So I made this For my brand, this is a love song. And then we also make like these like bralettes for another client of ours in Australia. And again, like we as a manufacturer, we specialize in these things. Like if a client was like, hey, can you make seamless activewear? That's something we cannot make. So you definitely have to be specific when you are looking for a manufacturer to make sure that they can do what you want to make. So again, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to my channel because I'm really trying to grow this channel and this is still a very new channel. But I am going to be dropping way more videos about fashion business because my goal for this channel is to help you know how to create your fashion business. And I also have an online course. So if you're really serious about that, check out my online course. The link is in the description box and I'll see you soon.